Hello. Sorry, that was a big sigh there. It was a busy day yesterday, so I'm paying the price today, I'm afraid. But somebody has asked me how to switch off, how to cope with self-criticism. And with any of the selves, self-esteem, self-belief, what works for one doesn't necessarily work for somebody else. So it can be a matter of trial and error. But the best way forward is, as soon as those thoughts come into your mind, you made a right mess of that, then kick them into touch. I have an unexpected example of that straight away. Yesterday, if anybody has seen the video I posted on Sunday of sorting out the homes for the hedgehogs, it was a day in which things went wrong. And in the end, I adjusted the hedgehog houses and put the hedgehogs outside. And I've just checked, and not one of them is in their house. The houses have been returned to whence they were placed in case they decide to come back. But I could beat myself up. If you'd made them a better fit in the first place, if you hadn't messed around trying to fit the hedgehogs in, then the hedgehogs would be fast asleep and they would be happy as Larry. So I could beat myself up about that because I don't like to think of any creatures suffering, especially around something that I've done. But I have to look at it realistically. It's not just me involved. Yes, the hedgehogs were curled up in a ball yesterday, but at this time of the year it's a mild day, so they are still out a-wandering. And I did my best. And doing your best is all that you can do, especially if there are others involved. In this case, hedgehogs, but it doesn't have to be hedgehogs. It can be any living being, any human being. I like the way I separate those out from any living beings. Ooh, that's interesting. Or any things. You know, those things that seem to have it set in their mind that they're going to beat us. But always, if you do something that you think you could have done better, which I am thinking, then I didn't know the size of the hedgehogs. They're huge. I've had them before and they've never been this big. These were 3 chunky fellas. So, yeah, I will carry on with my adaptations to the houses, but they had their involvement, they had their choice, they made their choice. They obviously didn't like the des reses that I made for them. Maybe they disapproved of the wallpaper. And I was talking with it about it with a friend this morning. And I said, you know, I heard a noise in the night and I have a horrible feeling it was those hedgehogs having packed their cases, trundling off saying, well, toss this, you know, don't want to live in this, it's too cramped, I'm going to find somewhere that's more appropriate for my size and my wonderful hedgehogginess. So I said, you know, I have visions of them tramping across the lawn, checking out other places. So she said, well, maybe they'd have a backpack rather than a suitcase. So we then went on through the possibilities of that, got very silly, had a good giggle, and you know, that took the pressure off my self-blame. But that's sort of a silly example. But for many, it's a natural reaction if we do something that we see is not right. Rather than putting that little bit of a spin on it and the fact that you did your best, it becomes wrong. You made a right mess of that. You failed with that. And the words wrong and failed, they have huge implications on our mind. They go in there and they glue, and they carry themselves forward to other things. And if you fail with something else, well, you fail doing such a thing as well, so no wonder you're just no good. And it becomes a descending spiral. So intervene straight away. I did my best. That's all anyone can do. Don't go down the "it wasn't my fault" road. Go down the "others were involved, but I am not blaming them." Because that's, oh, there's a little wren just in the tree behind the camera. Sorry about that. If you go down blaming the others, then that can affect yourself in a negative way as well. But when you've looked at it in the cold light of day, whatever it is you are blaming yourself, criticizing yourself about, I always think, right, okay, I could have done A and B rather than C and D. I'll remember that next time. No problem. The world's still turning. The world hasn't stopped. So it's no great problem. I can cope with this. I can live with this. It's a learning process. So you're twiddling it round to be something positive rather than the failure or wrong, which can start to bear down as a heavy load. And for some of us, those words resonate because they were thrown at us when we were young. Certainly, I've known of teachers when I was at school who would bellow across the classroom to some miscreant somewhere, "You made a right mess of that. That's wrong," and put a great big red line through it. That was a lesson I learnt, that makes you feel worthless. So I would never, ever, ever have done that with a pupil of mine. Rather, I would take them on one side and go through it with them, accentuating the positives, saying, how could you have improved it? And going through it together, not bombasting them, but looking at it as a team. So if you feel that you are affected by your childhood, then use your inner child as part of your team when you're about to castigate yourself. Would you do that to a younger you? How would you prefer to be treated as the younger you? And tackle it together. Okay, we can sort this. The world's still turning. The clouds are still moving across the sky. The birds are still tweeting. The world's okay. This is just a little setback that can be sorted. And if those thoughts come back again, just don't focus on them. Set them aside. gently, well, thank you for sharing with me. Off you go. And they might come back and come back. But if you focus on them and, oh yeah, I did make a mess. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, I made a big mess. Oh, and it escalates. Don't let that start. Cut it off in its prime by setting it aside. Like a puppy that's come out of its basket. Use a bit of mindfulness. Replace those thoughts outside of you. Thank you for highlighting that for me. Off you go. And be kind to yourself. None of us, not a single one of us, is perfect. And if you looked at that video of mine yesterday, you see what I mean. But we have to accept that. Some people aim for external perfection with photoshopping, etc. Others aim to not get everything right every time, or to say that that's what happens. Accepting that we all make mistakes, and so long as there aren't any dire consequences, if it's just something that went wrong during the day, then life goes on. Don't beat yourself up. Don't go down the negative lane. Rather, head high. I can sort it. I've learnt how not to do it, and I will apply that knowledge in a similar situation in the future. And that similar situation might go, I'm trying to think of a polite word. I'll stick with not right. All the ones that were coming to mind weren't very good words. So you might have to do a bit more learning. But life's like that. Life is like that. So imagine how you would talk to young you. Imagine how you would talk to a child, any other child. Imagine how you would like to be spoken to as a child. That you would like to be reassured that doing these things is natural. Everybody does it. So on that note, I shall say thank you for joining me. Take care and don't beat yourself up. Celebrate the successes, and if you're not careful, you'll lose sight of those because of the negativity about the things you did wrong, the things that didn't work out. So accentuate the positive, and eventually you will not necessarily eliminate the negative, because it will happen in different circumstances. But it will let you accept that as part of life and living, and not dwell on it, not focus on it. I'm going. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now. Speak to you soon. Bye.